Okay. So I don't know if anyone saw what I was actually sharing when I was trying to do it on the bigger computer, but here, this is the trifecta that I was showing off. So what we were saying is if one of these is incomplete or more than one of these, or if any of these are incomplete, you're going to see this, or the user will see this when they log into the app for the first time, right? It will gray out whatever is incomplete. And when you hover over it, it actually enlarges like that. So if I go to brand voice, it will, and I click on it, it's going to take me to my brand voices. Now to Mark's question, if I click out of this really quick and I come back into heyLevi, I have one of my offer playbooks. I have more than one offer playbook, right, in my account. So because I have at least one of my offer playbooks that are incomplete, it's going to keep giving me this alert every time I log in. Okay, because again, we were trying not to do this initially because we didn't want to be annoying, but we found that with the feedback that we keep getting from you guys and your sub accounts, people log in, they don't even realize that their offer playbooks are incomplete, and when they go into one of the content modules, it doesn't do what it's supposed to, and everyone's confused. So this is a way for you to know every time you log into the app. So again, for those of you that have been using the app, you're already familiar with this, I'm sure. If anything is incomplete, it's going to show you an alert as you log in, just so you're aware. Maybe this isn't a priority for you right now based on what it is that you're trying to do. Maybe you're not going to be using this offer playbook today based on what you're going to be creating in the app, but at least you know and you're aware so there are no surprises. Yeah. Awesome. Be annoying. People do not get it the first time. Yeah, we found that it's actually been more helpful, at least from the feedback that we've gotten so far since we released this. So yeah, but obviously keep us posted on how this goes for you. But again, when you're sharing heyLevi with your sub accounts and with your users, we want to make this, if you're an agency user, we want to make this super, super easy for you where you're not having to deal with trying to figure out, what do I need to coach my clients on? How do I get them set up? All right, I'm gonna say okay, and I'm gonna jump out of this. And since I can't share too many things, um, here, actually, I might be able to share my notes here. Hold on. Workshop plan. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so this is what I was sharing on the other screen, except I can't see anything because everything's overlapping everything. So give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. Okay. Um, so the trifecta, right? So that's the trifecta. So the trifecta is the core part of what heyLevi does. It's why it's different and gives you better results than any other branding app that we're aware of, and any other content app that we're aware of, right? It's because of this trifecta, and we wanted to make sure that any user using this app, whether they're one of our direct users or one of your sub accounts, immediately know what they're doing with it and understand why something's working the way it works. All right. The next one is the brand playbook. So this is, I don't know if Katie Stank is in the house, but this was all based on her feedback, which we loved. So Katie does a lot of branding with her clients, as far as I'm aware of. She does a lot of brand book building with them. And so these are some of the things that she wanted on the visual side of the brand playbook. And so let me show you what that looks like. If I can move tabs out of the way. There we go. Okay, so in the brand playbook, you'll now see, okay, let me just move this out of the way. You'll see this, right? So now you have the colors that we had before. You have the identity pillars, you have the colors. Now you can actually assign roles. And again, this is looking, these buttons are looking really big because I'm on a very small screen right now. But if you're looking at it on a medium size or large screen, you're going to see that these are little tags where you can see what role you've assigned to each of the colors and what that looks like. So here's a little preview. So you have we have yellow is our main button color and our highlight color. So you'll see that this is the bold highlight color and the main button color, right? Then you have this, I don't know if it's purple, but whatever that shade is that we use. That is our secondary font. So you'll see it here in the preview. You'll see it as our secondary font, right? Same thing, black is our secondary button color. So that's the role that's assigned there. And you'll see it in the preview here as well. And we also had a similar preview window for fonts before. So we've had this for a while, but we didn't have them in the downloaded PDF for these brand playbooks. So here, So you want me to minimize the side menu. Okay, so I can do that. There we go. I think that's the best I can do. Hopefully that's better. Okay, so these are now going to be not just in your brand playbook, but also in your downloaded PDF. So if you're doing this for clients, just know that these previews are going to come with the PDF. Okay, and the way you assign roles is you just go to edit and down here where the colors are, you can now see all the available roles and you can simply click on it and it'll add it to that. And then you can see the preview here as well. So you can see what it is that you just did. Okay. Cool. Okay, you guys are having webhook conversations in the chat, I see. So nothing about these, but again, a little design update to the brand playbooks there. All right, going back to my document, which was this one. All right. So product playbooks, again, this is an obvious one. You've probably caught this already. Product playbooks are now called offer playbooks. And the reason we did that is because in the product marketing world, which was my background, where I've been, every offer that you have is really called a product. Yes, it's also because a lot of the offers that we worked with were for product-based businesses. Whether they were, consumer tech, or whether they were for apps, digital apps or digital items, they're all really products. But we have a lot of users who are service-based businesses, and so it was very confusing for them. So instead of calling it product and service playbooks, we just decided to call it offer playbooks instead. Dominic, you don't see it activated in your brand playbook. If you can reach out to help@heylevi.ai or just respond even to any of the emails that we sent out for this workshop, our support team will look into it. So you might just need to log out and log back in, or clear your cache is my guess. But it should be there. Yeah. Yeah. So try that. And if you're still not seeing it, just send us a loom and we'll get it fixed for you today. Okay, so yeah, the offer playbooks. Now, again, we're making this so that your sub accounts, your customers are not confused about what the app is going to do for them. We want to make it super clear that this is for any sort of offer, right? And that's really how it's been designed as well. So we didn't want any confusion around that. So we have offer playbooks instead of product playbooks everywhere in the app. And some of the things that we've been doing in these offer playbooks. Now, this is actually a product. So the reason it says product here is because if you've built an offer in heyLevi, you know that it'll ask you whether your offer is a product or a service, right? And that's what that's coming from. So you see how it says product here, which is why it said product in my offer preview page. Okay. If you pick service there, it'll just say service. So I'm going to cancel out of this. And this is really fun, by the way, guys. I can barely see what I'm showing you because I have the chat window, the Zoom window, everything overlapping everything else. So this is super fun. Okay, so everything's called offer playbooks. Hopefully you're going to find, if you are working with clients, that it's going to be a lot easier for them to understand what it is that they can do with the app and all the gold that's in these offer playbooks, from validating your offers to testing your pitch with your customer avatars and just building out your entire offer. So in that vein, we've also had more than just the name. We've had other updates to the offer playbooks. So let me walk you through those. And I think this might be in the edit window. So you know that we did a whole series on the speak to me buttons. And so some of the feedback that we got from you guys is that we were presenting the speak to me button, which is a way for you to have a mock call with your customer avatar, right? With your AI customer avatars to just practice your pitch and validate your offer. So I heard from a lot of you guys, we got a lot of feedback on this, saying that the speak to me feature is great to practice your pitch with, but not necessarily to validate your offer, because as much as we took out the whole sycophantic effect of AI, which is basically when you go into ChatGPT and you say, hey, I've got this horrible idea where I'm going to abduct children, and I want to do it in a way that sounds really ethical. What do you think? It's going to tell you that's a great idea, and it's actually going to tell you exactly how to do it. So we tried to build into our prompts, into the back end, a lot of things that were going to eliminate this whole sycophantic behavior and actually give you usable feedback. But we found that a lot of you were still seeing that sycophantic behavior because based on how you build out the customer avatar, It's going to, mimic someone who may be interested in an offer when there may not actually be a market for it. So that's the feedback that we got from you guys. Those of you that are using it for pitch practices, we're hearing great things about that. But in terms of validating your offer, I wasn't going as well as we had hoped. So we introduced a new button which says validate offer. And what this does is we have basically built in AI venture capitalists. So people who would technically invest in your business, in your offer idea, right? Even if you have a business or an offer that you are never going to look for funding for, and you're never going to try and exit out of, this is just way too big for the scope of what it is that you're actually trying to do. Or maybe your clients are coaches and course creators, and they're like, oh my God, I'm never going to go to an AI VC. Why would I use this? So this is where this is something that you, as an agency, could be doing for your own offers or for your clients and putting these videos out there. Because every time I've put out a video of using this feature, I can tell you that nothing else like this exists out there. And I've gotten nothing but amazing feedback because literally this is one of the best ways you can use AI to validate your offer today. So again, even if you are not actually going to look for funding, the idea is you can speak to somebody who has that kind of investment brain, who has been around, who understands what offers are sellable, what offers are scalable, and what was actually going to make you money, right? They're going to help you identify gaps in your offer that you may not even be thinking about right now. Okay. And we did this. So the app that we're going to show you at the end of this demo is something that we ran through this and we validated our offer and it pulled out things that could potentially turn into ethical concerns as we, really push the limits of what we're doing with AI. It started to really help us think through what those ethical concerns can be in the future so that we can start to implement guardrails and things that are going to help keep our users safe, our offers safe, our own company safe as we do this. Okay. And the insights are actually pretty incredible. Even if I do say so myself. So anybody here who's used this feature, feel free to let us know in the chat. If you've used this, if you found that the insights that it gives you are actually really solid, very far from the sycophantic feedback that you may still get from the customer avatars. But these VCs are really going to dig holes into your offer to make sure that it is rock solid. And it's going to ask you questions. So the VC is going to ask you questions like, have you thought about this? But how are you going to deal with that? And if you hit a wall and you're like, okay, I actually don't have the answer to that. Like, how do I do it? You can literally just turn it back around and be like, okay, I need the answer. Like, what do I need to do to fix this offer? And then the VC will actually go into advisor mode and will tell you how to fix your offer. So really, really deep and detailed. But again, with everyone trying to create AI offers these days, you want to make sure that your offer is solid and that you're not going to risk getting into any kind of legalities or ethical concerns. And really, you just want to position your offers as the go-to choice in your industries, right? With everyone building AI offers, it's the people who are really thinking about security, stability. These are the kind of people and offers that are going to stand out. Is the validating considering where the offer is targeted for? Yes, it should be. So again, we're in the US, so we've only validated these things for the US market, but that's a great question, Mark. So if you want to give that a shot and let us know, um, it'll keep the things LLMs know. Yeah. So, but definitely give it a shot and let us know what you find. A great question though. Cool. Okay. So again, if you have used it, drop it in the chat. If you haven't used it, I hope you're going to use it today because this is probably the most powerful thing that we've built into HeyLevi so far with all the updates that we've been releasing over the past few months. All right. Now, the other thing, and this is also based on feedback that we were getting from a lot of you guys. So I don't know how many of you know that the offer audit module, so there, first of all, how many of you know that there is an offer audit module in the app? Anybody? Drop me a 1 if you know, and then drop me a 0 if you have no idea what I'm talking about with the offer audit module. Cool. While you've used the Speak to Me feature for pitch practice and sales call practice, awesome. Yeah, so it's turning out to be, we were trying to make it a validate your offer and pitch practice tool all in one. It didn't quite work out that way. But that in combination with the validate offer feature should give you guys everything you need to build rock solid offers. Okay, so I see more zeros than ones. So a lot of you don't even know what an offer audit module is. So if you go here to the Visionary Planning Hub within your HeyLevi account, you'll see a bunch of these business tools here. Okay, the offer audit module is very, very similar to a module that we had in our very early days when we were still called iGen, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. But we had a $100 million offer module, which was based on Alex Hormozzi's formula in the app, and everyone loved it. But because of legal issues, because of copyright issues, we had to pull it down because we don't have Alex Hormozzi's permission to actually use that in our app, in a commercial app, right? That we're selling commercially. So we had to pull it down, but we created our own version of it. So it actually uses all the principles of his formula, what he teaches in his $100 million offers book, and still uses a lot of those principles, but without using any of his copyrighted language or terms or names or anything like that. So for those of you that have been asking, like, hey, when are we going to get that back? It's been back for a while, but the magical part is that it now connects to your offer playbooks as well. Because when we added this validate offer thing, I actually had a call with a prospect a couple of weeks ago, and they mentioned, you guys have all this. Why don't you have like an Alex Hormozzi thing in the offer playbooks, which is going to help me also validate and increase the perceived value of my offer. And I was like, oh, we actually have it. We just need to connect the dots. And so that's what we did. So this increased perceived value, and maybe we need actually for my team that's here, I'm gonna put this little note here. But when we hover on this, we should probably have a pop-up or what's it called? Tooltip that says that this connects to the offer audit module. So that was just for my team, guys. I just want to make sure that this is super clear to all of our users. But this, so now clicking on this will actually take me right into the offer audit module where I can go in now and increase that perceived value. So you guys familiar with Alex Hormozzi's perceived value formula and how he talks about increasing the number one outcome and the believability score, and also reducing the time score and the what I call work score, like how much work do you need to do to get to that big promise that the offer gives. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of yeses in the chat, so you guys are familiar with that. So that's exactly what the tool does for you. Okay. And it's really, really, if you are helping in any industry, if you are helping your clients build out offers, I promise you this is going to be the most powerful thing you can give them. Okay. Rob, that looks like an O versus a zero, so I'm not sure if you're not familiar with it. If you're not familiar with it, just know that it's an offer scoring system that's going to help you. So offers really are all about the price point that you put on it, is all about the perceived value, right? So obviously we hope that the perceived value matches the actual value of the offers that you're selling. But a lot of people, when they're, a lot of experts in their own niches, own industries, they have solid offers. They have so much value to provide their industry, their audience, but it's really hard for them to convince the audience about the value that is wrapped up in these offers, right? If you've ever tried to create an offer, which I'm sure every one of us here has, you know that it can be really tricky to word it in a way where your client, your prospect sees the value that's wrapped up in this offer. So it's all about the perceived value, right? So what do they think is going to is the value that they think they're going to get from your offer the first time they see it? Okay. And what Alex Hormozzi talks about is in their minds, psychologically, they're thinking about, okay, what is the big promise, right, in this offer? Is it for me? Even if you might be telling them this is exactly for people like you, their minds are going, well, is it really for me? Because I feel like I'm different. All of us, every one of us feels like we're different from everybody else, right? Like, I don't know. I see that working for other people. It sounds like a great thing, but it's not going to work for me, right? We have all these excuses in our heads about why something's not going to work for us. Oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the expertise. I don't have the experience. So this is just not going to fit in with what I'm doing right now. So we have all these reasons, all these objections that we may never even share with the person presenting their offer to us. It's all stuff that happens in the back of our minds, right? Psychologically. So I'm going to show you how this works here visually as well. So it's already pulled in all these details from my offer playbook. So what I'm going to say is, which offer did I pull in here? HeyLevi. Okay. So I'm going to say the number one outcome that this offer, which is HeyLevi specifically for social media managers, is that it will help you identify the true unique value in your customers, brands, and offers in minutes, right? So for social media managers, let's say this is something that they struggle with, which I actually know they don't struggle with content. They struggle with identifying the unique value and pulling that unique value out into the content that they create for their clients, right? So let's say, and I can make this a lot better, but let's say this is the number one outcome that my offer promises. So the time required, I mean, let's say for the trifecta in heyLevi, let's say it takes no more than an hour. So I'm gonna say 60 minutes to achieve this big outcome. So you'll see that these questions are exactly what Alex Hormozy also teaches you in his book to ask yourself when you're validating an offer and trying to increase the perceived value, right? So again, you want to make sure that this number one outcome is something that your audience actually really, really, really wants and will pay for. The time, you want to minimize it. You don't want them to feel like, oh, I don't have the time for this, right? And that's the kind of stuff that the tool will now do for you once you've filled out these few questions. So what are the actions, commitments, or work required in order to use your offer to achieve this big outcome, right? So I'm going to say install the app and spend 30 to 60 minutes building out, uh, uh, let's say brand and offer playbook for each client, right? That's what they need to do. So that's the work involved. Again, you want your clients to think, or your prospects to think, to feel like the time and the effort required in order to reach this big outcome are going to be minimal. Okay, so it's already pulled in the features and benefits of my offer here. And then how many case studies? This is how believable it's going to be to my prospect, right? So we have about, I don't know, 30. So I'm going to say 30. And then I'm going to let the tool do its thing. So how many of you, I mean, I saw a lot of zeros when I asked if you guys are aware of the offer audit tool, but how many of you have seen this? Either from our very first version, which it's evolved a lot from since then, but this was like 2 years ago when we had in our very, very early version of heyLevi, versus how many of you have just never seen this? Seen it and did it once. Okay, just once? I watched you demo it in a Zoom last month. Okay, cool. Yeah. So some of you guys have seen me demo it. Some of you have never seen this, but I highly, highly encourage you again, if you are if you're creating offers or increasing the value of your current offers, or if you're helping any of your clients do this, honestly, it doesn't matter which niche you're in. This is one of the most powerful tools that I've personally come across, because I used to do this for clients back in the day, and I used to do all of this very manually. It used to take me at least a week to set this up for each client. Okay, most of you have never seen it. Okay, so hopefully you guys are excited. So this is what it's doing. So it's giving me an outcome score, which is the desirability of my offer. It's giving me a believability score, and it's actually explaining what each of these are. So I'm not going to spend too long on this because we already lost a lot of time at the beginning of this workshop with the tech issues we were having, but definitely try this out. It's all in your account. So if you haven't used it yet, you haven't seen it yet, know that it's there. Know that it's now connected to your offer playbooks, and you can play with this, really dive deep into this for your own offers and your clients, and really, really increase the perceived value of your offers with this tool. Yeah, fantastic. It's a super impressive feature. Yeah, we're not using Claude for this feature. No, we've been using a combination of Gemini and OpenAI for these, and I'll tell you why. I love Claude. The problem with Claude is when you use it through the API, and actually you may have seen this just using Claude's interface as well. It will actually, I haven't seen it do it recently, Kunal. So just put that on the back burner. Let's give it another test. So when we tested using Claude, it kept asking us, okay, so it sounds like you want me to do this. Would you like me to proceed? Right? I'm sure you guys have seen this, and I think they've actually fixed it now because I haven't seen it happen in a while. The problem is you don't really think about it when you're doing this in the interface, because you're like, yes, please go ahead. But when you're doing this in a no prompt tool like heyLevi, there's no way for the app to ask you that, or the AI to ask you, hey, should I continue? And there's no way for you to say yes. So it just errors out. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to get Claude to play nice with heyLevi. We're going to test it again, though, because thanks for bringing it up, Scott. Claude is still one of my favorite LLMs. And so if we can build it in for some of the strategy work, I would personally love to do that. But yes, so we've been using a combination of Gemini and OpenAI. Cool. Okay, so hopefully this is all making sense. It's going to show you literally how it's calculating each part, why you need to make something higher or lower, what the calculation is, what the negative score is, what the perceived value score is, and a summary. And it's going to give you all of these charts. So when you're doing this on a call with a prospect or a client, I promise you they're going to be super impressed because this just drives everything home for them, right? It's going to show them like where their perceived value is. The higher your outcome and believability scores, the better. The lower your time score and work scores, the better. So you can see that I'm in the green for everything with this specific offer. Hey, Levi is awesome. Who knew? Um, so yeah, and then it'll take you through. So not only will it score your current offers, it will give you pointers on how to increase the perceived value of your existing offers. And it will also give you two alternate offers that are similar to what you're doing, but it's going to show you how to wrap up your offers in completely different ways, which have a much higher perceived value than your current offers. So you have tons of options. I know, right? It would be really awkward if heyLevi scored in the red after all of this work. Um, yeah. So again, it's giving me offer improvement suggestions. And in the next section, yeah, here it's giving me alternate offers to consider, and it's going to show me how the perceived value scores add up for these alternate offers. And then I can pick whatever I want to. Now, when you're accessing this module from the offer playbooks, it's going to bring you here. It's going to trust that you are taking notes and doing whatever you want to here. And then once you know how you want to adjust your offer, you're going to go back into the offer playbook and make those adjustments yourself. We are working on seamlessly, once you go through this entire module, being able to pull this back into your offer playbooks if you choose to. Okay. Today, you're going to have to just kind of work through this, but it's still really powerful, right? So you can work through this and then just take whatever you learn from this, copy it down or whatever, or open heyLevi on a different tab and go back to your offer playbook and put it in there. Cool. Yes, the code is always rigged in our favor. Okay. Let's see where we're at. So we talked about offer playbooks. We talked about the new validate offer feature. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention actually, is the fact that you can, and I'm not going to show you this because it's a small thing, but I just want you guys to be aware. Sometimes some of us are building offers that are specifically for men or women, right? And so when you validate your offer, you want to make sure that the VC investor that you're talking to, you may want to make sure that they are that gender, right? So if you are building an offer that's specifically for moms, right? I know Kiri, you're doing something like that. I think Katie, you're doing something like that as well. But for those of you that are specifically building offers for moms, you probably don't want a man telling you how to, I don't know. I mean, if you had the choice, right? You would probably want a female investor telling you how to build out your offer and perfect your offer. So, um, you can actually, what I was going to say with that is you can actually go into your offer playbooks. Let me go back to that really quick. And you can choose. So when you start the validate offer feature, I think I can do it without, yeah. So if I click on validate offer, it's going to ask me, do I want a female investor or a male investor? Or if I don't care, I can just say no preference, surprise me. Okay, so again, for those of you that are either building offers for a specific gender or are serving clients that are doing that, just know that you have this option as well. Mark, your question about the scale of 0 to 100 and the other one is 0 to 1. That's because, and again, if you read through, so when you work through it, the text that I just kind of glazed over will actually explain all of this in detail. So the reason is that the positive scores, you want them to be as high as possible, right? So I'm going to get a little bit technical here. If you have a math brain, if I lose you, don't worry, I'm not going to go on about this. But if you like understand numerators and denominators, you understand that whatever goes in the numerator, you want that number to be as high as possible if your end goal is trying to get to infinity, right? So you want that number to be high, but most importantly, you want your denominator to be as close to zero as possible because you only get to infinity when your denominator is zero. So the negative scores, which is the time and the effort, right? How much time will your users or your customers need to spend in order to get this big outcome that you're promising them with your offer? And how much effort will they need to put in? Those two numbers go in the denominator. Again, it's all explained. The AI does a really, really good job in that module of explaining how it's calculating all those things. Okay, so it's 0 to 1 because your goal with that is to get as close to zero as possible. So your if your denominator is from on a scale of 0 to 100, it's going to be really hard to get to that infinity, right? So I don't know if I'm explaining this well, or Kunal, if you want to jump in, because
Go on mute. I'll jump
go on mute.
in.
Yeah.
Let me go on mute if I can find my mute.
Right.
Give me one
Let's
second.
see if
Hold
there's
on, hold on.
there it is.
Oh, shoot.
Right. No feedback.
Yeah, Kunal, I'm
It's
gonna go
coming
off.
from your mic. You need to switch off that other. All right. Okay. Now.
No, Zoom doesn't want you. Okay, I'm jumping back
I'll
in.
just come here. I'll just come here.
To come
But the
closer.
real reason for having that, I mean, you want to see that number, but real reason for having that denominator higher, once from 0 to 100 and one from 0 to 1, is that it's easier to show the variation in the quality of your offers when the numbers are large. If both of them were 0 to 100 and 0 to 100, you would most likely get something as zero point 0.1, zero point 0.9. And then showing those multiple decimals becomes a lot harder than showing a score that's slightly the way you see it right now. And so it just makes it easier to understand what is a better offer than something else. And that comparison just becomes easier. That's why the numbers work like that. You'll still get the same number because
Jonathan,
you'll get the same.
get off the YouTube. You're playing a video game. Do one thing.
Charles, you talking to your kids? We can hear you. Okay. Yes, we tell our kids the same thing every day. Stop watching YouTube, do one thing. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question, Mark. I'm gonna open up my chat again. Charles just put me in timeout. I think we all felt that. You better listen to Charles. Yes. Okay. All right, guys. Hopefully that makes it clear. Again, if you have any questions about this, just send it over to us. We'll be happy to jump on a call with you to explain this in more detail if this is something that you're explaining to your clients. But again, this text here, it does a really good job explaining all of this here to you. Okay. Okay. So, moving on to, I think we covered all of this. So we covered the gender selection and validate offer, and we covered the increased perceived value, which leads to the offer audit module. Okay, how many of you guys have been asking here for one-click blog publishing? We've had a lot of people over the past few months, and so we're really late doing this, so I apologize, but we finally have it. We finally have it. Jared says, yeah. Oh, yes, please. One-click blog and social media. Yes. So social media is still coming. We hit a few snags with that one, but Kunal's working really hard. I'm making him work really hard on getting that out as well. But we have the blog, one-click blog publishing now. The catch with that is that if you guys are familiar with this link that some of you I know don't really care about because you're like, okay, it'll just take me 10 seconds, I'll do it. But I know a lot of you are like, why do I have to keep doing this? I just did it last month or I just did it last week. I'm gonna put
GHL.
it's GHL. Well, it's in GHL's defense, it is they're doing the right thing. So every time we access a new part of their API, they need your consent, right? So you as the agency need to consent that you are allowing our app, like heyLevi, to access a different part of the API for your agency. So so again, for those of you that have done this before, you know that it's just like it takes all of 10 to 15 seconds. But anyway, so in order to be able to start one-click publishing your blogs from heyLevi to HighLevel, you will want to go through this link. So either do it right now. I promise you it'll take you all of 10 to 15 minutes. Just make sure that you check all the boxes. Don't skip any steps. And it'll work. And so what that means is when you go into the blog module, and I had this all set up on my other computer, but let's see if I can get you there really quick here to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me just quickly generate a blog here to show you how this works. It's really straightforward. It's exactly where you would expect it to be. It's just in the last step of the blog module. It'll just give you, oh my God, that's way too many sections. Let's just do the minimum. It'll just give you the option of publishing it to your sub-account blog. Does it work with WordPress? Yeah, so we had this question come up as well. And Kunal's working on this too. Yeah. So I don't know if it'll work through GHL though.
It'll work with any WordPress once we push that.
Okay,
It'll
so
work
both.
with any WordPress-based blog.
Okay, so both hosted in GHL and without. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's give this a second here. Charles, you have a question?
Yeah, quick question on this. So is there not a requirement for image and image alt text? And if so, how's that getting solved?
That's a good question. So image alt text, we're not doing images at all from here. So the images you are still adding in your, I'm thinking this through because I've been publishing from here, but I haven't actually done images from here. So images you are still adding in separately to the blog editor. We don't have the ability to add in images right into your blog in heyLevi here. Is that something we can do, Kunal? So in the blog editor,
Yeah.
because what Charles is asking is alt text for images, right? What you need for SEO, but
It's just part of the API. So like that's one of the required items on the API. That was my first question is like, how are you getting around all the required fields in the API? Which I could see where you could pull in image AI like you do in the social media planner to where you generate the article, then you generate the image. Like it's a multi-step process, but then you can actually get to a one-click publish.
yeah, that's true with the images. I mean, we can look
But you
into
need
it.
the image.
Yeah.
There's just a few more fields that are required.
Yeah, no, that's a really great thought. Thanks, Charles. Yeah, we'll look into it.
On the documentation, it says it's required. We've been able to push it without it being required.
Can you hear, Kunal?
I can hear them. So even though it says it's required, it's not really required. Typical GHL. All right. Okay. Well, that's good to know. But it would be nice. I mean, most of us would want images. So, but making sure that it comes in, that's generating an image at the correct size is probably going to be the hardest part of it because HighLevel's got some funky blogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so adding that in like you have in the social planner would be nice.
It's good feedback. We'll look at adding images, and the way we build images, we build images off of the alt text. So our prompts create the alt text first, and that is used to create the image. So when we add that, it should automatically get fixed for this. But yeah, we'll add that to the roadmap.
Yeah, great thing to
Awesome.
keep in mind as we build this.
Thanks.
Thanks, Charles. Where do we find the agency ID required in the V2 migration? That's a good question. I need to email out again. Dominic, yeah, sorry. We need to send you the agency ID, or you can find it here. Let me just show you where you can find it. Actually, before I navigate away from here, so let me just show you how you can publish to your GHL. So this says CRM only because we're trying to keep it as white label as possible for your sub accounts, but CRM here just means GHL. It doesn't publish to any other CRM. So you will select from your list of authors that you already have in your blog set up in GHL in this specific sub account. You can select from one of the categories. I have a bunch of categories that I've created here, and then you'll select which blog site you want to publish it to, and then you just say publish to your CRM. Okay. And the one-click blog publishing post to WordPress is not hosted on GHL. So we don't have it to WordPress today, but what Kunal is saying is when we release it, which is hopefully very, very soon, I know Kunal is actively working on it. It will work with WordPress sites that are both hosted on GHL and not hosted on GHL. It's not going to matter whether it's hosted on GHL or not. It's just going to be a WordPress integration. Cool. So let me see if I can remember where this is. So for those of you that are on an agency account, okay, so you go into your agency settings and you go into agency and you'll see your agency ID here. It actually goes off here. It's longer, but you'll just want to select the whole thing and copy paste it into your V2 migration. Let me know if that helps, Dominic. Okay, yeah, Kunal's put the path in there as well. So agency settings, agency ID. All right. Multiple categories and tags. That's a good question. I think you can only do one right now, right, Kunal? I don't know if we can do multiple all with the same blog.
No, I think we've made it a single, so we'll fix that. I think the API does allow multiple categories.
Yeah, it's an array.
I'll look at the API. If it allows, we'll fix it.
Yep. And Maha, I know if you're here, can you just put that down in our notes as well, please? I want to make sure we fix that. Cool. Okay. All right. This is why we love having Charles on these calls. Okay. Custom commands. Are you guys aware of the custom commands feature, by the way? We're almost at the end here, guys. So there's just two more of these that we want to cover, and then we're gonna go on to the big demo. Okay, so I'm seeing a no. The custom commands thing. So for those of you, I'm not going to really compare us, but that's where I'm going to be honest that I got the idea from. For those of you that have used Notion AI, Notion makes it really easy to kind of select text and really kind of brainstorm with the AI as you're going, right? It's really interactive. And so we wanted to reproduce that whole experience inside of heyLevi. So we released this a few months ago, but I'm going to show you how that works. So let me just move a few things out of my way again. But in the edit window, so not in the final window where everything's ready to go, but where you're actually editing things. So let's say I select this text, right? Now, what I really want to do is I want to have a conversation with Brainstorm AI, which is what we call our chat feature, which is here and in the left menu. But what we really want to do here maybe is we want to select this text and we want to go back and forth and have a chat conversation with the AI instead of just, telling it what to do or all of these other options, right? So yes, when you select text, you can do all of these different things. You can summarize it. You can tell it to improve and rewrite this. You can shorten this, expand on this, do all of these different things. But if you want to go back and forth with this output, just like you do in something like ChatGPT, you click on chat with Brainstorm AI, and what it'll do is create a new chat. It'll just pull it out on the side, and it is pulling in this entire content. So what you can do now once it's done loading is just go back and forth like you would in ChatGPT and say, actually, can you do this or can you do that? Okay. So that's the custom command feature. Again, that's just probably my favorite way of using custom commands, but there are a ton of other things that you can do as well. So just check out the whole menu. When you click on that, there's a whole menu of things that you can do as you're editing outputs. Cool. Okay. Now, the last thing that I wanted to show you guys is the multilingual UI support. So I know that this doesn't get a lot of you excited, but those of you that have been asking for multilingual UIs, the people in our community that have been asking for this have been asking for Spanish and French specifically. And we happen to have a Portuguese developer on our team, and so we threw that in as well, just for fun. But really, it's the Spanish and the French. And so we got help from Edward. I don't know if Edward's actually on this call. Say hi if you're here, Edward. I know he's on most of our calls, but I didn't see him today. Mark loved the fact that we released this on July 4th and decided that the US English was the standard English across the globe and everybody else needed an explanation. Edward, you're here. So Edward and his team put in a lot of effort and work into helping us release the Spanish UI options. So thank you so much, Edward. Like we're so grateful for all of the work that you and your team put in. But yeah, it works really well. I'm really excited because it's coming from native Spanish and French speaking, people from our community. So we had Lionel, I don't want to butcher his last name, but he helped us with the French translation. So again, a lot of work that our community put in to help us get this out to you guys. So really grateful and thankful to you all for jumping in and helping us release this correctly. And so the way that works is if you're on a standalone account or on a sub account, you'll see this little flag here. So when you click on it, you'll see all the different options here. So we now have English US, English Australia, English UK, and then we have Spanish, French, And then we have Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese. So these are the languages we have so far. If there's a language that you are looking for specifically that isn't on this, please do reach out to us. We will put it on our list, but also just know that we are going to need to ask for your help if that's a language that you need to see. Is the French Quebec compliant? The California of Canada. I don't know. Probably not. I don't need Dutch, but if there's a need, I can help. Awesome. Thanks, Mark. Cool. But yeah, so again, if you guys need a language that we don't have yet, just let us know. And if you're willing to work with us, we can get this out pretty quickly for you. If you're an agency, you can actually set this at the agency level. So again, I'm going to go back to my agency settings here. Move the chat window out so I can see what I'm doing. And if I go into agency, you'll see this default, how do you pronounce this word? Locale? Locale, I think, yeah. And so you'll see all the options here. So setting a language here. So Edward, I don't know if you've probably already done this. You probably have this set to Spanish or Espanol. If you set it here, by default, all of your sub accounts will be set to that language as well. Okay. But if they ever want to change it, they can always, go here and change it for themselves. Or if you really want to get granular and change it for a sub account, you can also do it at a sub account level. So I can go into my sub account here and
Right to the bottom.
yeah, I can't see my screen. That's the problem. There we go. Yeah, so it's all here. Oh my gosh, I'm going to fire you guys now with all these questions. Italian. Okay, yeah, we should probably do Italian too. I don't think we have any Italian users. Are you guys actually Italian users? Or you just want to feel like you're on vacation when you're using heyLevi, which is good too. I'm all for it. Cool. Yeah, if you guys want Italian, I'm excited to work with you guys and get this out. So Dominic and Luca, if you guys want to work with us on getting Italian out, we now have a process where we can get it out pretty quickly. We have a spreadsheet that we'll send over to you, and if you can help us make sure that our AI translations are correct or just correct them wherever needed, we can get them out pretty quickly. So cool. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for bringing that up. All right. Cool. Well, that's all of the features that we had on our list for heyLevi. So with that, do you guys have any questions at all before we move on to this whole new thing, whole different thing that is actually not a part of heyLevi? So I want to make sure that we're answering any questions that are heyLevi related specifically before we move on. The Spanish versioning, the Canal project. Why is it the Canal project? Hey, I'm offended. It's the me project. All right, cool. So no questions. Sounds like no questions on this. Okay, are you guys excited about seeing the demo?
No, I have one.
Oh,
Does-
you have one. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
the Spanish, is that Castilian or is that something I can use in Texas?
Edward.
Is it Spain or is it?
Edward, do you want to answer that for us? If you're here, I know you were just here. If you want to just unmute Edward.
Okay, yeah, that's just basically Latin America Spanish.
Yeah, if you need.
If it's Latin America Spanish, can I suggest that you maybe use the Mexican flag versus Spain because that's a very different Spanish.
That's a good point.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
we'll do that. Yeah, Maha, if you can note that down as well, please.
And maybe in parentheses, Latin America.
Okay. Yep, I think
Because
that's
my users, I've got some municipalities that are using this. And when they see that, they'll go, yeah, but is this for our residents?
okay. So forgive my ignorance here because I don't know all the different dialects, but is Castilian from Spain?
Yes.
Okay.
Castilian is Spain. It is proper. It's like the Queen's English. It's the proper Spanish.
Got
And
it.
everything that's in Latin America is a derivative.
Okay, got it. So
Now I've seen, I'm sorry, I've seen, many websites that are translated to like Latin American Spanish, and they use the Spain as a regular representation of Spanish, not necessarily the Castilian. Like I'm not sure. Like
if you go to
I
I'm sorry to
Mhm.
interrupt, but if you look at like a plugin like Translate Press, it actually delineates between Spain and Latin America.
Gotcha.
Well, it's just
Okay.
like you have right now. We have English United Kingdom, English Australia, English American. It's the same
Yeah.
Yeah.
with French, and it's the same thing with Spanish.
That I've seen. The question is like which flag are they using? That's the
Typically
question.
on Translate Press, it's Mexico.
Mexico. Okay. All right.
Okay, so yeah, we can definitely replace this one with the Mexican flag. And then, Jason, is Castilian something that your users would want?
No, I don't do any work in Spain proper.
Okay.
Like most of the translation stuff, I just to put it out there, I've got a couple of municipality contracts with Parks and Rec. Their primary in Texas, what they need to hit is English, Latin American Spanish, Mexican Spanish, and Chinese and Korean, oddly enough.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, if you need any of these languages, again, we just need your help because we obviously are not familiar with all of these languages. So as long as we have your help, we're open to doing any language or any dialect needed.
Yeah, I don't think the Asian ones are going to matter that much to them. It's more the Spanish, the Mexican Spanish, which you have just it's it's easier if they don't see the Spain flag for Spanish.
Okay. Okay. Noted. We'll fix that. And
Or
then,
if you do a Castilian version, call that one Espanol with the Spain flag, and then put in Spanish as a choice with the Mexican flag. That's a very common way to differentiate those two.
okay, so you just say Spanish like in English versus Espanol?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate all that feedback. And then yeah, so Lee, I believe, or Larry, you mentioned that Portuguese is different in Brazil than it is in Portugal. That one I feel confident that we've gotten right because our developer, our lead front-end developer is actually Brazilian Portuguese, and he got us both. So again, we just need your help. So we're multilingual, but all Kunal and I speak in our English and Hindi. And we have, as far as I know, no Hindi users, so we haven't even attempted to do that. But yeah, for any language, again, we just need your help. Cool. Okay, yeah, we have the Brazilian flag as well. Awesome, guys. So yeah, so again, just keep in touch with us. If you guys have any language or dialect requirements, just keep in touch with us. Let us know. And again, we're happy to work with you and get that out. All right. Okay. So with that, let's move on from heyLevi stuff because I don't see any other
I had
any
a
other.
quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Will the option to ever be able to upload a document be available in the custom prompts?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Travis. Sorry, I did see your question and then I forgot to answer that.
Soon. Soon.
Kanal says soon, so hold him to it, please, guys. Okay. Yeah, let's put that down on our list as well, Maha. Let's get all of these knocked out over the next couple of weeks if we can. Cool. Yeah. Why not add Hindi? Only because, again, we don't have, again, if we have a market and they're interested in the app, in India, a lot of people just speak English, honestly. Not a lot of people know, but English is also one of our national languages, and so people just default to English. If there's a Hindi speaking only market there, I'm not aware of them, but I mean, there is a market, so let me take that back. That is not what I meant to say. There is a market if they are interested in using AI or an app like heyLevi, that I'm not aware of.
So many different variations to Hindi, it would be impossible for us to get all of that. Like you travel 20 miles in any direction and the dialect completely changes.
Yeah, I was telling Edward. Edward was telling me all the different little details that go into Spanish, even just Latin American Spanish, and I was telling him how there's even more in Hindi. And then, of course, if you go south in India, then you open up like a new language in every state, and those have their own dialects in different parts of the state as well. So Yeah, it's definitely an interesting culture in India where there's just a lot of languages. Okay, cool. I'm gonna say this one more time, but again, stop me if you have any other Hey Levi related questions. But we have 15 minutes left, and I really want to show you guys this new thing that we've been building. But before I do, I'm really curious because I know we've kind of shown off a different app that we have started to build as well. So at this point, if you guys have been coming to all of our workshops, you may be thoroughly confused. But based on what we've kind of been sharing a little bit on socials, I'm curious if any of you guys have any idea what this new thing is about. I mean, I kind of hinted at it in the emails that we sent out, but anyone have any guesses as to what this new app that I'm about to show you is, like what it has anything to do with? Kiri, go for it. Kiri came and stayed with us in California for a week, so she has some insider information. Yes, it's agentic, but it has a very specific purpose, at least in its first version, because we want to see if it actually helps you guys in any way before we start building it out more and more. So it's definitely a deep research agent. Sales node. Mark, you're thinking about the other thing that's what I'm saying. I know you guys are thoroughly confused at this point. But based on the conversations that I've been having with many of you guys in the community, we just saw we've identified a different problem, a different branding problem that came to light, that we decided to shift our focus to and build for first. So not the sales thing that we've demoed before, but
individual branding, like personal branding.
yes. And so personal branding is exactly what it is. And so I have had a lot of, I mean, I'm not an influencer or anything like that, but over the past few years, I've been fortunate enough to build a pretty strong personal brand where I literally have people messaging me these days. It's funny when I get a DM from somebody that I know in the community really well, and they're like, "You're all over my feed. Like, you're literally everywhere." And then I have other friends telling me that people are always telling them that they know who I am, they've seen me, but they have no idea what I do, which is not the greatest thing. But again, that's the power of a personal brand. Like people know who I am at least, so that's a good thing. And I'm still working on making sure that people know what I do as well. But I have a lot of folks focusing on personal branding. And so whenever, these days, and this has been happening for the past few months, I show off Hey Levi, and people are excited about it for their businesses, but then they also are building a personal brand, and it's something that I've been doing as well. So this really resonated with me. And it's also a really smart move. If you're not building a personal brand, I highly encourage you to start thinking about it, only because if you ever exit, and again, there's a whole story behind this, I'm happy to share it sometime, but if you ever plan to exit your business, or even if you're not thinking about exiting it today, in the future, if you ever do exit, you want to have something of your own to fall back on, right? I mean, we all know, I think we've all heard about the no-name guy who, I mean, I apologize, full respect to him, but I can't even remember his name today, even after reading his story. There was some no-name guy who sold Tesla to Elon Musk and nobody knows who he is, right? It's just one of many, many examples of you might be a genius and you might be creating something amazing, but if you ever exit, if you don't have a personal brand to fall back on, nobody's going to remember who you are anymore, right? So from career path to career path, business to business, startup to startup, I highly encourage you to think about not just building your business a brand where the business brand becomes sticky. We talk about Apple, we've talked about Apple and Amazon and other, strong brands in the past. Those are business brands. I highly encourage you to think about also building a personal brand with it. Okay, and so that's what we've been building for. So I've had a lot of folks ask me, and I'm actually trying to find the right tab. So it's here. I had it all again set up on my other computer, but you're gonna watch me just kind of click through this here. But the idea is that a lot of people have asked me over the past couple of months how I've gone about building my personal brand, because I built it from scratch. Before HighLevel, before I came into this world, like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever that was, 3 years ago now, I guess. I didn't have a personal brand at all. Nobody knew who I was. And I've actually very strategically and very intentionally, I should say, have worked on my personal brand with all of the other stuff that I've done. And I've had a lot of folks ask me how I did it. And when I started to sit down and really map out everything I did, I realized that I have spent a ton of time just doing research, right? Doing research on the markets that I wanted to tap into, doing research on the community and the problems of that community, doing research on the target audiences, What are the questions they're asking for? What is their, like, you know, what are the search trends in this market, and things like that, and really starting to speak about and talk about things that nobody else is talking about in those niches. So this is not the screen I wanted to start on. I actually wanted to show you the full thing developed before I show you this, but again, we're going really ad hoc today with all the tech stuff that's going on. So the first thing you're going to see once this app is released, again, we're getting really, really close to releasing this to a very small group of you. We're not releasing this to everyone. We're not releasing this to the general public, but to a very small group of you that want to work with us on this and want to work on your personal brand. We're going to release it just to you guys next month. And so what you're going to do is answer these questions, right? So it's going to take you through a series of these 19 questions. And it could be less than 19 questions depending on what is your path, right? So building a personal brand can mean different things to different people. So maybe you want to write articles that get published in specific online publications or magazines, but you don't really want to be on stage, right? So that would be your path. But the AI is going to help identify, do you want to speak on stages? I'm just gonna just click through each of these. These are gonna be required. I just had our team disable the requirement for this, so I can just click through this and show you what it's gonna look like. But it's gonna ask you, do you want to be interviewed on podcasts? Do you want to get published in publications and magazines? Do you want to get on stages? Do you want to do you want to apply to be a keynote speaker at events? So things like that, it's gonna ask you, and then it's gonna build out the strategy for you. And just to make this look a little cool, I'm going to see if I can, again, I had all of this set up on my other computer, but let's just add in an image here. So you'll be able to really personalize this, and this is specifically for your brand, right? So what that means is you're going to have all of these different dials. So this is what it's going to look like if you say yes to, let's say, all of it, right? Like you want to speak on stages, you want to start getting interviewed on podcasts, you want to build your own podcast, you want to get published in publications, you want to build your own blog site, and make sure that you're actually answering questions with your content that your audience is actually asking, right? Now, how do you know what your audience is asking? Yes, you could go into Facebook groups, and this is how I started out. I started to just pay attention to conversations that were happening around me and on social media. But if you've been around at all in the digital marketing space, which I know every one of us here has been, you know how much value there is in actually doing research into what the search trends are, what is your audience asking, what is the search intent, why are they asking that, where are they going to get answers to those questions, and what kind of content are they consuming, and how can you be that answer for them? How can you provide answers, stay top of mind, and be that source of truth for them in whatever area of expertise or experience that you have, right? So once it's built all this out, I can go into my brand profile, and you can see that it gets really, really nitty gritty and very detailed, right? So in my brand profile, it's given me, and again, this is tailored to me. So it's given me my personal brand statement. This is going to be my North Star. So whenever people ask me, what do I do? What do I want to be known for? This is going to be what I say, right? It's going to give me exactly what I need to say and how I need to position myself. And then if I go into the detail page, and each of these different cards, it's going to give you a little summary page that you can reference quickly, or you can go into like a deeper dive and go into all the detail pages, right? So what that means is I can go into what my core brand definition is, again, my North Star, my quick hook, but I also have what my core expertise is. When you're applying to speak on stages or applying to get your stuff published, some people will have you fill out a form which asks you what is your area of expertise, right? And so you have all of that information right at your fingertips. Your unique value proposition. Again, this is not for your offers. This is not for your business. That's what heyLevi does. This is a brand new app called Brandify. Oh yeah, Kiri just said make sure to tell everyone what it's called. So we're calling this new app Brandify with an AI at the end instead of Y. And what it's designed to do is help you do all the deep research that you need in order to start building a personal brand that actually converts for you, right? Again, it will help support your current business, but it will also help support the next thing that you do. It's going to stay with you and not be married to your current business. It's going to be married to you. It's going to stick with you. Okay, so core beliefs and philosophy, and then my target audience. I can return to my playbook. Let's look at a different thing. Let's look at events and keynotes, right? It's doing all of this research. And keep in mind, it's not just doing the research for me once when I create this. So like, hey, Levi, we'll do the, it'll bring all this information for you. But because hey, Levi is not yet agentic, you have to go in and say, okay, let's do this again, or let's rework this part again. The whole idea of going agentic is going to be so that you don't actually have to know when to come in and update something. It's always there for you. You can always rework any part of it when you're ready to, but the agent itself is going to do that research for you on an ongoing basis, and it will come and tell you when any of these trends or details change. It's going to tell you, hey, there's this new event that's being planned, and it's perfect for your expertise. You would be like a perfect addition to it. This is what it's about. This is the topic. This is when it's happening. This is who to reach out to. Let's write you an email that you can send off to this person. So that's the idea behind this, right? So if I go into the detail page here, it's giving me some, again, these are like not accurate numbers just yet. This is just a prototype that we've built out so far. But it's going to tell me, my events by user fit, right? So based on my expertise, I'm the user, so my fit. It's also going to tell me audience fit, right? And it's going to tell me peak season, diverse formats, target alignment. Like, it's giving me all this information, right? It's also telling me, based on my expertise and what I shared with it when I was setting up my account, it is going to tell me what kinds of keynotes. So if you're like, I'm brand new to this, I don't know what to present on, what am I going to talk about? I don't even have a keynote presentation. It's going to help you build all of that. It's going to tell you. So this is basically what I always talk about, right? So when I shared my story with the AI, when I was setting this up for myself, I shared about my experience working with Marvel, working with Apple, working with Amazon, and this is what it came up with for me all on its own. Okay. This is completely unedited. This is exactly what the AI came up with for me. So it told me to create a keynote based on this, which is exactly what I get asked about. So this is really exciting. This is exactly the kind of content that I get asked about, that my audience responds to the most when I put content out there, when I speak, when I'm on stages. This is the kind of stuff that people ask me to speak about. So this is perfect. Okay, the strategic positioning, comparative advantage, like what can I bring to the table where other speakers who may be talking about similar topics, maybe, the event host and the audience will always want to know, what is it that you're bringing that's special to you? It's going to help you figure all of that out. Okay. It's given me 3 different keynote ideas. It's going to give me, like, how crazy is this, guys? This is where the research part comes in. It's giving me all of the related events that are happening, how much of a strong fit or moderate fit, which is like lower down. It's going to give me, I guess the load more button isn't functional just yet, but it's going to give me a list of all the events and tell me what a perfect fit or not, or moderate fit I would be for them. It's going to tell me exactly what topics are being talked about at this event. And it's going to tell me which audiences they're catering to. All of that research is going to do on an ongoing basis and basically just give me all the information I need, so I don't have to keep, getting on Google or ChatGPT to ask these things. It's going to give me an idea of topic distribution, so I know what kind of topics to bring up when I'm at these events. Okay. And of course, it has a summary where it's giving me all these recommendations to position myself and get myself at these events and on these stages. Okay. And if I go back to my playbook, let's say I also want to start writing articles that I want to start getting published, right? So if I go into the detail page for this, again, it's going to give me a similar, so you get the idea, right? You guys get the idea. So for basically everything that I want to do to build my personal brand, it's going to show me how to do it. It's going to do all the research for me. It's going to give me everything that I need, and it will also build out the content for me. So let's say here, so in these publications, let's just go tab by tab. I have a list of all of these publications, right? Again, it's done what it did for me with the events. It's telling me what, the application success rate is. So basically, if I apply and if I get published, what is my success rate? What is my possible success rate for getting published on the HubSpot blog? By the way, did you guys know that HubSpot, actually, I didn't know this. When I saw this, I was like, HubSpot, there must be something wrong with the AI. I'm pretty sure HubSpot only publishes their own blogs. Turns out I went in and I looked myself just to see if the AI was kind of making this up, but nope. HubSpot actually does take applications, and you can apply to get published on their blog, which is so amazing. This blew my mind.
Trust the output of my work.
I did not trust the output of AI. Okay, so it's done all this for me. It's telling me where I can go and apply to get my work published. Not just that, it's actually telling me what phases to do it in, to do this strategically, and the content topics that would be of interest to each of these blogs. And if you're like, okay, this is great, but now I've got to actually go and write this, you actually don't, because remember that we've been doing content for a while, so we're not going to leave you guys high and dry. It will actually write any of these for you based on best practices from these. So if you go to each of these blogs, every one of these publications has specifications on how they want their content to be written before they will even consider publishing it. So we're not giving that to you guys to do. We are building it into the AI. So if you're like, hey, HubSpot, okay, I want to get published in HubSpot. I like that topic, the inbound power of brand. Let's do that. I actually think I'm going to actually do that because it sounds amazing to me and I'm getting excited just talking about it right now. But let's say, yeah, I want to do this one, how Apple's messaging strategy drives organic growth. That's exactly what I talk about. I want to now get published on HubSpot. I can just go have it write it for me and it's going to write the entire article for me. It's not going to like ask me how many sections and all of that because again, it's taking that. So in heyLevi, it asks you all of those details because it's a blog post in heyLevi that is tailored to how you want to write that blog post. This is going to write it for me based on the specifications from that specific publication. Okay, it's going to do that for me. Once it's done for me, and this is the part we're still building out, once it's done for me, it will find who I need to reach out to apply to get myself published on HubSpot. And it will also help me write the email that needs to go out with this content to apply. Okay, I tried to say that really fast before we run out of time. So getting published mainly helps with exposure, correct. So everything to do with your personal brand is helping you get exposure, right? It just depends on how you want to get exposure. So again, some of us want to get on stages. I love getting on stages. I plan to use this app myself to get on more and more stages. But there are a lot of us that don't want to get on stages. We have no interest in speaking on stages, but maybe we do want to get interviewed on podcasts. Like that's our way of getting out there. We do want to write blog posts for our own website and, based on what the search terms are, that's how I'm going to get out there. Or we want to get published on other publications, right? So there's just so many different ways to build a personal brand. And this is going to give you all the tools you need and structure your strategy, your plan based on what it is that you want to do. So yes, so are those topics getting refreshed? Absolutely, Mark. So that's exactly why we have these agents, right? So this is going to be all agentic. It is going to do the deep research for you on an ongoing basis. It's going to let you know, it'll notify you when something has changed, whether that's a search trend, whether there's a new event in your area and you're interested in events, whether there's a new podcast that just, that is now a great fit for what it is that you do. Any one of those things. If it detects a change, it's going to keep doing the research for you. When it detects a change, it will update your strategy for you and let you know. So because this is so different from the way heyLevi is structured, that's where we had this big decision point, which, Kunal and I went back and forth on quite a bit before we came to realize that this is likely going to have to be its own app. So building this into heyLevi, as you can see, it's just got a very different approach to it. It's got a very different way of thinking about things. To build this into heyLevi would mean completely scrapping what we have with heyLevi right now and completely rebuilding it. And we talked to some of you. I got on a few calls. So if you're here, you guys know who you are. I had a lot of conversations with many of you who are using heyLevi right now as a core part of your agency's offerings to ask if this is something that you would be open to, just having heyLevi just transform into a whole new product like this. I honestly thought that the answers were going to be a yes, but we had enough people tell us that they would hate for heyLevi to disappear in its current state, and that they love heyLevi just the way it works right now, instead of having it completely change into something like this. So, which is why we were like, okay, well, this then now needs to be its own separate product, separate from heyLevi. And so depending on your feedback, depending on what our users want, we are thinking about maybe merging them in the future, maybe not, maybe just building the completely different products. I don't have the answer for any of that right now. But I will tell you that we are hoping that you guys who understand the power of a brand and who are here today are going to be the ones to help us figure that out. So, in terms of, okay, let me answer this question too, because we are going to be presenting this at Level Up for those of you who are going to be at Level Up in October. So we're going to have some big demos set up for that. And I know this question is going to come up as well. So I have some of you asking about LTD, so lifetime deals that we did when we first launched heyLevi. So because this is agentic, and because this is using up a lot of tokens on an ongoing basis, it is going to be worth it. The extra costs that come with it are going to be absolutely worth it when you have a brand that is just, it speaks for itself and people know who you are. They immediately trust you. They want to buy everything that you put out into the market. I promise you it will be worth it. But yes, with an agentic approach, costs are higher. Usage costs are higher. There's no getting around it, which is also why we wanted to build it separately from heyLevi, because if anyone wants to just stay with the static AI that is in heyLevi, you guys don't want the agentic approach. And the added costs that do come with that, that's perfectly fine. We want to give you guys whatever is a better fit for you and what you're doing with your business and your personal brand. So cool. Yeah, Mark, you're going to be at Level Up. Can't wait to see you there. For my clients, personal branding is the way to go. I actually have seen, it's actually really cool to see how much personal branding is becoming a thing these days. Even people with full-time jobs. So like I speak with really senior product marketers at bigger companies like Amazon, an ex product marketer from Kajabi. And all of these people are completely focused on building their personal brand, regardless of whether they are employed full-time or they have their own business or doing a little bit of both. And the reason for that is, again, working for a different company, maybe you have the best job in the world. You have no control over what's going to happen with that job or that role or that company tomorrow if it's not your company. Even if it's your company, you don't know what's going to happen with it tomorrow because the market is just changing that quickly. So today, in the age of AI, where people are using so much AI to build themselves up and get out there and make more sales, I personally think that it's more important than ever to have a personal brand, no matter what it is that you're doing with your business or your career. Richard Branson's personal brand is bigger than Virgin, Elon Musk. Exactly, exactly. And I also use Steve Jobs as an example. Yes, Steve Jobs was connected very, very closely with Apple, obviously. But if you think about it, Apple had its own brand that still survives and thrives even after Steve Jobs was gone, right? Now, it's debatable whether Apple's quality has gone down, blah, blah, blah. That's a topic for a different day. But the idea is that, I mean, the concept and the reality is that Apple has survived even Steve Jobs going away. It's survived and it's thrived and it's grown and it continues to grow and scale because of its business brand. But Steve Jobs had his own personal brand. He was known for very specific things. Yes, he was known for what he talked about and did with Apple, but he was known for having his own ideas about how companies should be run, how products should be built, how people should be treated, which, obviously is a sore point for many people. But again, he had very, very strong views that he made known and public. And so he had a very strong personal brand of his own. Yes, exactly, Mark. So they kicked him out and then he came back. But the reason he also came back is because of that personal brand, right? Once they kicked him out, if he didn't continue to build his own personal brand, the product that he created, I can't remember the name right now, that eventually got acquired by Apple and then he got, what is it called? Next, yeah. Next.
And then Pixar, and then came back.
Obviously Pixar was a really good investment, but from what I've heard, Next was not even that great of a product. It was because of his personal brand and what he was doing with the things that he was doing. It's why he was brought back to Apple and why his product was acquired. Yeah, personal branding helps you advance within a company. So yes, if you have a job, it helps you advance. If you're kind of in between right now, you're wondering whether to go back to a job or build a new company, again, your personal brand is going to carry you no matter which direction you go in. And so this is kind of why we stopped all the other things that we were doing a few months ago. And yeah, Kunal's just been completely dedicated to this over the past couple of months, trying to bring this to life. So again, we wanted to bring this to you because, guys, it's not a part of heyLevi. It's going to have its own pricing models and everything. Yes, one of you asked, is it going to be in HighLevel? We are building a HighLevel version for sure. But it's going to be on the rebilling system again because of all the usage, because of all the AI, token usage that's going to come with an agentic approach, with the ongoing research approach. It's going to be on the GHL's rebilling system. So you and you'll be able to actually not upsell, what is it called? Rebuild, but what am I trying to say? Upcharge. No, what is the upcharge? There's a word that I'm not thinking of right now. Huh? Markup, thank you. You'll be able to mark up usage costs if you choose to for your sub accounts. And so it's a great way for you to make some extra money as well as an agency offering this to your clients.
Yeah, Charles has his hand up.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I can't see on my screen, but Charles, go ahead.
Okay, so Kanal, is this going to be available for sub account purchase and install from the marketplace? And if so, are we going to wait for the white label feature to hit that part so we can also change the name,
If I wait
make it nice, clean, and simple so we don't have to try to backtrack on it?
no, okay. Realistically, we're looking to launch this at Develop. Yeah, so there is
Okay.
it is still 2.5 months away. Fingers crossed, yes, I think get that white label thing released before that. But you and I both know how that works.
Yeah.
For that, I don't know how long I'm going to be waiting. I know that they're pushing for stability updates, which I think is fantastic, and they're not releasing any new features. And so any white label stuff that they're doing that might get pushed to, I don't know, Q4 or Q1 next year. We can't wait that long. It will be a white label. It will be a white labeled app. It will be a sub account pricing model and usage, all of that. For those who aren't aware of that, Charles it is, but for those of you who aren't available, know about this thing with the rebilling model that GHL is pushing for marketplace. As an agency owner, you'll be able to rebill and mark up usage costs. You will also be able to rebill and mark up the cost of an app to a sub account. So your cost for using this or any other similar app effectively becomes $0 as long as you pass on all of the costs, which you can. I don't think that you do a markdown. It's all markup. But yeah, to your point, Charles, we're hoping that those things will get sorted out by the time we launch. There will be a closed pilot release before that, and we are still figuring out if we limit it to just agency owners to test it on their end versus just opening that up to everyone, because our initial pilot launch is going to be the cost is going to be on us. So there's
Gotcha.
free for them for the 2-3 month period that we have for that.
I look forward to seeing it in the marketplace. So for the sub accounts.
You'll still have the someone's looking at the distribution model, and I know that you want to keep it controlled, so we still have it as agencies can install it. You also have sub accounts installing it, but I know that you have a way of controlling that. So
yeah, as long as I can just set it to approve and they can install it, they can sign up for it through the marketplace. You know, all the rebilling gets taken care of through there. I don't have to worry about it. You guys don't have to worry about it. And it makes it just a much easier experience for the end user on a SaaS play. Yeah, I'm not a marketing agency, so
that's what we're shooting for. And looks hopefully some of those white label changes where you can change the name of the app and stuff come in time, but sort of out of our control.
thank you.
Awesome, guys. So with that said, I know we're over time, but for those of you that have asked, how do we get on the wait list? How do we get on the founder's deal? Well, first thing you want to do if you want to be on the wait list for the very first release is just drop a 1 in the chat right now. My team's going to take screenshots of all the ones that we get, and we are going to be reaching out to you guys first. Okay, lots of
having 6 ones doesn't give extra spots.
Okay, Maha and the rest of the team, if you guys can please make sure that we're catching all of these ones. We'll have this chat saved as well. Just do everyone here. Yeah, definitely. Anyone here not wanting to be on this? Like you're like, no, just leave me out. Don't bug me. Don't spam me with this. Put a 0. We'll make sure to remove you. But yeah, I think based on how many ones we just got, I think spam me. I think maybe if you want to be removed, do a 0. Otherwise, we'll just assume that you are in and you want to be notified as soon as we have this out. So the good news for, I think most of you here, or if not all of you here, are all heyLevi users from what I can see. If you're on a heyLevi paid plan, and this includes our LTDs and includes our agencies from our early days, anybody on a paid plan with us right now is going to get 3 months of access to Brandify as soon as we release it next month. 3 months for absolutely free. All of your usage, all of that is on us. We're not going to rebill you. We're not going to charge you any usage charges. We just want you guys to use it. And obviously, what we're hoping for with that is for early feedback. So we're not going to hold you to it, but of course, we would love you very, very much and appreciate it very much if you guys use it. Use the gift that we're giving you and just simply tell us whether you love it, hate it, what you want to see in it, and what would make this a super, super amazing tool as for you as you build your personal brand. So 3 months free for everyone who is on a paid plan. For those of you who are on the free plan of heyLevi, I think we may have some freemium users here. If you are on a freemium plan, free plan, the day we release it, which is next month, I know that next month is not a day, but I don't have a specific date for you yet. Kunal told me to throw out August 15th, so let's say that. But for those of you who are on a paid plan with us on that date, you'll automatically be given login details to use it for free for 3 months. If you're on a free plan with us, you will be notified on how you can get a super discounted rate to lock in that rate for the life of your account with us. On the new app, it'll be a super discounted early founder members deal. No LTDs for this. Just want to make that super clear so that nobody's disappointed. We did talk about it, but unfortunately, there's just no way for us to do LTDs on something that's going to be constantly using up credits and usage, right? Very different from how heyLevi was designed. Yes, please keep a few eyes out on your emails. If we don't hear back through email, I'll be reaching out to you guys personally, and I will definitely be spamming you on Messenger. So make sure I'm not blocked on your Messenger. And we'll reach out to you in multiple ways. And of course, if you're going to be at Level Up, come to our booth. And then we can talk about it there as well. But either way, regardless, if you're on a paid plan, you get 3 months free. If you're not on a paid plan, but you are a freemium user of heyLevi's, you're going to get a super discounted deal. And all of you will be the first to know about it as soon as it releases. Will agentic capabilities be coming to heyLevi at all? So John, that's a really, really good question. And it's something that we don't have an answer to yet, simply because we have been going back and forth on this all year, honestly. And so I have been, for those of you that have been booking calls with me and jumping on calls with me, and in fact, let me put this in the chat. Anybody who wants to talk about this, future of heyLevi, future of Brandify, how you can use each app, whether you guys want to see this be combined into a single app and what that would look like for you, or if you're just really interested in one or the other, please do book a call with me. I will be in Cancun for the Committed Committed Summit, it's called, next week. And so I want to make sure that I actually haven't checked if my calendar is blocked for next week. It should be. But after that, please book a spot. Please get on as many calls as you'd like with me. I want to hear from you. And I really just want to hear your thoughts and ideas. Like, where do you see this going? How excited are you to use this? How do you want to use it? What do you want to see in it? And how do you want it to work for you? Yeah, sorry, I can only talk or type, but I can't do both at the same time, turns out. So let me put it in the chat. There we go. Yeah, thanks, Kanal. So talk2ruheene.com, pretty simple. Fun fact, I used to do ManyChat chatbots back in the day. I was known for my chatbots and my ManyChat builds. So I had a company called Talk to the Bot, which no longer exists, but that's what I used to do. So HighLevel, that's what I used to do. And so that's why it says Talk to Ruheene if anyone cares about where that came from. But yeah, it's talk2ruheene.com. Please do book a call with me. Happy to chat with as many of you that are willing to share your ideas and feedback with us.
So one thing that I want to address, we have a fair few questions around what's the pricing going to look like once it's actually GA? Will existing paid members get a founders deal? We don't know what the pricing is going to look like. Yes, paid members will get a founders deal. We still have to figure out what that looks like, because the one thing that will not be there with this, like heyLevi has a all-you-can-eat plan, which is basically like you get $199 for 5 accounts and then $499 unlimited accounts. The nature of the agentic app and the costs associated with that mean that we can't go with that model. So this would be a per sub account pricing using GHL's marketplace rebilling. which does mean that you have, as an agency owner, you have the option of passing on the cost of usage and the app monthly subscription to your sub accounts and make your whole cost zero. That said, for paid members, we will figure out a founder member deal, which will allow you to have a bigger margin when you mark up and resell it to your customers.
And also just to clarify for those of you asking if heyLevi is going to go the agentic route, that was definitely our plan at the beginning of the year. But again, I mentioned this earlier, and so we had a lot of conversations with a lot of our agency users, and the feedback we got, which I know may not be the same for all of you, but we need to make sure that we're catering to the bulk of our like power users, the users that are actively using heyLevi in their businesses as a part of their offers. And so the feedback that we've gotten so far is that people are a little bit afraid because heyLevi is doing so well in their agencies and for their customers. They're afraid of switching out completely for an agentic approach. So again, the idea of getting on these calls with you guys, for anybody willing to get on a call with me, is to get your feedback. We want to hear from you, and we're still trying to decide the best way forward. For now, there are going to be 2 separate apps. Again, we're going to do everything we can to make it super sweet and super easily accessible for anyone who's been with us on heyLevi. So you guys are totally going to get taken care of. I promise you that. But yeah, just want to know in terms of the future of where these apps are going. Brandify, we hope will do as well as we expect it to based on the early feedback we've gotten. And as long as that's the case, we're going to, based on, again, your feedback as you use both apps, decide whether they both need to be merged into a single app or whether they need to both be agentic in their own forms, or whether heyLevi just stays the way it is right now with more integrations. So things like social media integrations are still coming. But then all the agentic stuff gets added into Brandify. So again, all of that is up for debate at the moment, and we're really hoping that you guys will work with us to help us decide that. All right, cool. Thank you guys so much. I know I've kept you well beyond the time that we had allotted for this. So if there are still any questions, please do reach out to us. We're at help@heylevi.ai, or you can just reply to any of the emails that you've gotten from us inviting you to this workshop, or just post in our community, in our Facebook community. We have 2 different communities. One is meant to be specifically for white label agencies. The other one is meant to be for standalone users, but we've had a mix, and a lot of you are in both groups. So it doesn't matter which group, just, ask questions, book a call with me. Lots of different avenues for you guys to keep in touch with us. And again, we want to hear from you. So please don't hesitate to reach out and stay connected. And yeah, for those of you on this call, you will definitely hear from us. Expect an email and expect a lot of big announcements mid-August, where we are going to be sending out logins and access to those of you that are on our paid plans, and then some sweet deals for those of you that are on our free plans with heyLevi. No updates on Kanal's project. No, Kanal's project will also still be coming out. Most of it is already built, but we are just focusing on releasing one thing to the market at a time, just so that we don't confuse you guys. And we've had a much better response, bigger response to Brandify than we have with Kanal's sales tool. So again, that is going to come too as well, but just wanted to give you guys one thing at a time so we can make sure we're building what you actually need. I'd love to see a way to add a custom menu link. Okay. Kanal, you've already answered that one. Sorry, Charles. But yeah, cool. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you guys. Appreciate you hanging out with us, even though we're like 20 minutes late. We had lots of tech issues. Thank you for sticking with us. Appreciate you guys as always, and definitely let me know if you're gonna be at Level Up. We can't wait to see you. Thank you, Anthe. Good to see you. Charles loves GHL. On that note, thank you guys. And oh, I just realized I'm not the host. So Kunal or Amaha, actually, please feel free.